Hello and welcome to Human Talk English, the podcast where we make English grammar simple and fun. I'm your host, Melody.
And I'm Avery. It's great to be with you all today. Melody, I feel like we have a really important topic to discuss, one that causes a lot of confusion for learners.
We certainly do. Today, we are tackling three small words that can be big trouble: be, been, and being.
Ah, yes, the big three. They all come from the same verb, but you can't just switch them around. Using the wrong one can really change the meaning of your sentence.
Exactly. But don't worry, by the end of this episode, you will feel much more confident. We're going to break it down with lots of clear examples. Ready to start, Avery?
I'm ready. Let's do it. Where should we begin?
Let's start at the beginning with the word be. This is the base form of the verb. It's the original, the simplest version.
Okay, the base form, like the root of a tree. So when do we use this simple version?
There are three main situations. The first, and most common, is after the word to. We call this the infinitive.
Right, to be. Like in that famous question from Shakespeare, to be or not to be?
Exactly. We use it to talk about goals, wishes, or plans. For example, I want to be a scientist, or she hopes to be here soon.
So it's about a possibility or a future state. What's something you want to be, Melody?
I'd like to be a better cook. The important thing for our listeners is the pattern: want to be, hope to be, need to be. After to, you use be.
Got it. So what's the second situation?
The second situation is after modal verbs.
Modal verbs. Can you quickly remind our listeners what those are?
Of course. They are special helping verbs that express possibility, ability, or necessity. Words like will, can, should, must, might, and could.
Okay, so an example would be, I will be there at 5 o'clock.
Perfect. Or you should be more prepared. Or even, this might be the answer. Notice the modal verb does all the hard work, so be just stays in its simple base form.
That's easy to remember. It doesn't have to change. Okay, and what about the third use?
The last one is very simple. We use be for commands or instructions. We call this the imperative.
You mean when you're telling someone what to do? Like, be quiet.
Yes, or be careful. Also in the negative, like don't be late.
Ah, be or don't be. Simple and direct. Okay, so to recap for be, we use it after to, after modal verbs like will and should, and for commands. That seems straightforward. Are there any common mistakes our listeners should watch out for with the word be? That seems straightforward. Are there any common mistakes our listeners should watch out for with the word be?
That's it. You've got it. Absolutely. A frequent error is trying to conjugate be after a modal verb. For instance, a learner might say, I will am happy, or she can is a great singer.
All right, let's move on to the next one, which I think is often the trickiest. Been. It sounds a bit like be, but it's very different.
It is. Been is the past participle of be. Now, that sounds technical, but there's a very simple rule to remember.
Ah, I love simple rules. What is it?
Been almost always needs a partner. It is used with the helping verbs have, has, or had. Think of them as a team that always works together.
Okay, so been doesn't like to be alone. Have been, has been, had been. That helps.
Right. These team form what we call the perfect tenses. Let's start with have and has. We use have been or has been to talk about experiences in the past where the exact time isn't important. For example, I have been to Italy.
That means that sometime in your life you went to Italy. The experience is part of your life now.
Precisely. Or if I'm asking you a question, have you ever been to a concert?
Yes, I have been to many concerts. We also use it for things that started in the past and are still happening, right? Like, she has been a doctor for 20 years.
Mm-hmm. She started 20 years ago, and she is still a doctor today. The action continues. Or they have been married since 2010.
Okay, so that covers have been and has been. What about the other partner, had? When does had been come into play?
Great question. We use had been to talk about something that happened before another event in the past. Think of it as the past before the past.
The past before the past? I like that. Can you give an example?
When I arrived at the party, John had already been there for an hour.
Okay, let me break that down. Two past actions. You arrived and John was there. John's action of being there happened first, so we use had been to show it was the earlier action.
You've got it. So the most important takeaway for been is to look for its partners, have, has, or had. If you see one of those, you need been. All right, are you ready for our final word of the day, Avery?
I am. Let's talk about being, the one with the ing ending. My brain immediately thinks that this means something is happening right now.
And you are correct. That's its main job. We use being in the continuous tenses with helping verbs like am, is, are, was, and were. It describes a temporary action or behavior.
A temporary behavior. That's a key detail. Can you explain that more?
Definitely. There's a big difference between saying he is helpful and he is being helpful.
Oh, okay. Let me guess. He is helpful describes his personality. It's who he is in general.
Mm-hmm. His character.
But he is being helpful describes his actions right now, in this specific moment. Maybe he isn't usually helpful, but today he is.
You nailed it. It's about a temporary state. If a child who is normally quiet is making noise, you could say, "Why are you being so loud?" It's about their behavior now.
That makes so much sense. So being is for temporary actions. Is there another use?
Yes, just one more. Sometimes being can act like a noun in a sentence. We call this a gerund. It often appears at the beginning of a sentence.
A verb acting like a noun?
Exactly. For example, being a leader is a great responsibility. In this sentence, being a leader is the subject. It's the thing that is a responsibility.
Right. Or it can be the object. I enjoy being outdoors. The thing I enjoy is being outdoors.
Perfect. So to summarize, for being, use it for temporary actions with am, is, are, was, were, or when the verb acts like a noun.
Wow, that was a lot of information, but you've made it so clear. I think it's time for a quick review and a little quiz to test what we've learned.
Great idea. Let's do a super fast recap. Rule 1 for be.
Use be, the base form, after to or after a modal verb like will or can.
Excellent. Rule 2 for been.
Been, the past participle, with have, has, or had.
And finally, rule 3 for being.
Being is a temporary action with am, is, are, was, were, or as a noun.
Fantastic. Okay, listeners, get ready. We'll say a sentence with a blank. You try to fill it in with be, been, or being. Here's question 1. She has working here for a long time.
The key word there is has, and the partner for has is been. She has been working here for a long time.
Correct. Question 2. Don't be afraid of making mistakes.
That's a command or a piece of advice. So we use the base form, be. Don't be afraid.
Excellent. Question 3. Why are you so quiet today?
This is about a temporary behavior, something happening right now. And we see the helping verb are. It has to be being. Why are you being so quiet?
Yes, 2 more. They will here in an hour.
I see the modal verb will. After a modal, it's always the base form, be. They will be here in an hour.
I enjoy part of a team.
This is that gerund case where the verb acts like a noun. The thing I enjoy is being part of a team. So the answer is being.
You got all of them right, and I'm sure our listeners did too. See, once you know the rules, it's not so scary.
Not at all. The key is to practice. Try writing your own sentences this week. Listen for these words when you watch movies or listen to music in English.
That's a great tip. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us on Human Talk English.
We hope this has been helpful for you. Until next time, keep practicing and happy learning.